Hey everybody, Zorvax here, and today we're going to be reacting to the Destiny 2 Ashen Iron and Renegades reveal. So, sorry it's early in the morning, but let's get started.
Guardians, welcome. My name is Dylan. I'm going to be your host today, and happy 11-year anniversary to Destiny 1's launch. I wanted to make sure to cover that at the very top
11 years.
It's kind of mind melting. 11 years of Destiny. Had no idea we'd be here. Today we have a ton to talk through, so we're going to rush through this. No, we aren't going to rush. But we have Renegades. We have some really cool stuff to talk about that's going to be coming in December. We have a wonderful update from our development team. We've been listening. We're looking at your feedback, and we actually have some plans that are coming together right now to address it since Edge of Fate launched. And then we also have, on the second half of the show, we're going to be looking at Ashen Iron. We'll have a bunch of devs on the couch. We're going to talk about the activities, the loot, and potentially a new exotic that you might have been asking about. So, without further ado, Robbie, how you doing? Welcome back to the couch.
Hey Dylan, it's great to be here. And like you were talking here in the intro, like we've got some really big changes coming based on all the feedback we've been getting from the Edge of Fate that we'll talk about right after we give a little bit of a first look at Renegades here. And that's why we got our laptops, right? There's a lot to get through, and there's a lot to talk about. So we're just gonna Dylan and I are making sure we're
definitely looks like Star Wars.
So we've been hard at work on collaborating with our friends at Lucasfilm Games to make something that is like unmistakably Star Wars, but authentically a Destiny story and experience. And so today we get to start pulling back the curtain on that.
And I'm going to embrace my inner Scarrow and ask, Robbie, is there a Vidoc?
Yeah, so you all asked for it. You're going to get it. We're about to play a Vidoc that is our first look at the Lawless Frontier. You're stepping into a world of criminals, shady deals, with an arsenal at your disposal that you'll only be able to find within a black market here that's emerged within Seoul. And so,
got a feeling that Spider would probably be involved with that. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Oh, I guess we are going back to Mars.
Seeing how stunningly Star Wars it felt was electric.
Oh, what? I just jumped into that walker and I just annihilated the encounter.
No! Because those are new brakes! Those,
feeling that blaster just go off.
That looks so cool.
Like a whole new world opened up.
Okay, that caught me off guard. Wait, where is this?
There's something really
is that Venus?
That we haven't really done in Destiny before.
That ignition, that hiss, that sound.
Oh, it's like that. Okay.
Please tell me the Titan's gonna do that shit too. What? Is that supposed to be the Starlight Pit? That's cool.
We begin in the shadow of a prophecy that says our end is already written.
Wow.
It's here we draw a line in the sand where we start the long journey to fight our fate. In Renegades, Guardians infiltrate a criminal underworld
not bad.
to save a friend whose past has caught up with him and disrupt the rise of powerful new enemies. In special
Are you serious right now?
We took inspiration from Star Wars.
Okay, this is so like, oh my god, yep, that is definitely, oh my god,
of a space western.
Holy crap, this is gonna be pretty crazy, oh my god,
to change the future.
What the, whoa,
The folks at Lucasfilm were such great collaborators. They understood that in order for this to work, we had to find where the Venn diagram of our two stories meet.
Hit right there of all new stuff.
Rising up against something much larger than themselves. Themes of hope. Those little places in that Venn diagram were the ones that really helped us find the story that we want to tell together.
If you look at Star Wars and you look at Destiny, you can kind of see that parallel that exists.
Oh yeah.
So for instance,
that is definitely a Starlight Pit.
Are Sith.
Pretty Sithy.
Yeah. And then you've got the Barrett Imperium, and they are very, very Empire-like. Yes. They have a huge appetite for expansion.
I think of the Praxic Order.
What is that supposed to be, like a Darth Vader?
Release, and they are very
we actually getting a Darth Vader or something like that? Like a Guardian Darth Vader?
There is a binary in our universe of good and evil. We get to
if we're going to be fetching a Dredgen out there, that'd be interesting.
Our story in our world, while still feeling very much like the inspiration that we're calling from. Edge of Fate leaves us with a really big pass forward into the future. We know of this prophecy now that tells us that we need to bind the Nine or we face extinction. And Drifter was there on Kepler. He saw all of this.
Yeah, and even made him older too.
From this one.
Still weird, though.
Drifter is convinced that there's a connection between the Nine and the rise of this new faction, the Barrent Imperium. He sees them rising at an unnaturally fast rate and is insistent that there's a problem.
Oh my.
But the Vanguard isn't listening. They're insisting that he needs to stand down.
The cool thing about this criminal underworld is
yeah,
you and Drifter and your crew,
very
you
Star
come in
Wars.
At the bottom, and at the top, there's the Barrent Imperium. You need to work with all these crooked criminal syndicates in between, earning your power, building up the notoriety, getting the gear that you need to take down that powerful Imperium.
I swear to God, are we actually getting like some kind of
the Imperium have made,
what the?
And we need to be the ones to destroy it. And we're not going to be able to do that unless we work with exactly the kind of people that we normally fight. So we're going to head out to the lawless frontier, and one job at a time, we're going to take down the Imperium.
Okay. Okay. I also do hope that we get like some kind of Mandalorian armor, something like that.
Cooperative activities.
Holy
you're gonna
crap.
choose the job, you're gonna choose which renegade abilities you're gonna take into those jobs, and then you're gonna drop into the action with your team, smash up those objectives, get as many riches and treasures as you can,
so are we going back to Venus?
And then get out. Or die trying.
To do that, you're gonna go to
Wait, you get to ride in that
Frontier
thing?
Hollow map. You'll see Mars, Europa, and Venus with swamps that are very reminiscent
Yes, we're going back to Venus. Yes.
In Europa, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap! We're going back to Venus.
Mars, which is some pits that are very reminiscent of Sarlacc pits, and you don't want to fall into them. You'll die.
Called
These
it.
are Destiny locations. It's just we're taking.
Okay, so
inspiration
Europa's
from some of
gotten
these
this too.
Iconic places in Star Wars.
Let's say we go to Mars, and you're gonna pick a bounty hunting job.
Oh my God!
To take out some ball. And then you either matchmake with people online, you take your crew with you, you can play solo. Every time you drop in, you might be in a different location on the map. Your objectives are going to be a little different each time.
Okay, I like the armor.
So there's a lot of variety.
Titan looks pretty cool.
Within these activities, we want them to be highly replayable.
Okay.
Along the way, we're going to throw a bunch of curveballs.
Okay.
You might run into a missile tower that's trying to take you out from halfway across the map. And you have to like divert and take it out, and you get some extra credits out of that.
All right.
Defeat your boss, get to the exfil with whatever time you've got left. Call your ship in. All hell drops in on your head from the Cabal. Your ship flies in. You hop aboard, and you got to exfil.
Okay.
Over the course of the campaign and deep into the post-game of Renegades, you're going to be unlocking and earning a bunch of different Renegade abilities.
Huh?
We've got things like airstrikes.
Oh.
Cabal drop pods.
Wait, you can summon those things now?
Interceptors, swoop bikes, turrets.
You got like a whole arsenal in your disposal.
There's a ton of stuff that you can bring in and just change how things play.
It's like a tech tree of options.
It's like a whole tree of options across support, defensive, and offensive abilities. So the player's going to have a lot to play with here.
The Lawless Frontier isn't just about raw power. It's about influence. Shady backroom deals, working for these powerful syndicates and against them at different times. And all of this takes place at the heart of the criminal underworld in Tharsis Outpost.
So wait a minute.
The Vanguard have been preoccupied. They've been off saving the world, and they haven't been looking at Tharsis. It's changed a lot since the last time we were there.
It's now this thriving black market, this criminal underworld.
Huh?
Tharsis Junction became Tharsis Outpost. If you have an unsavory job that you need done, you can find it at Tharsis Outpost.
I called it.
Tharsis Outpost feels appropriate for both Star Wars and for us. When we looked at Mos Eisley as inspiration, we knew that we could play in that playground in a really fun way. From the ghosts that you'll see floating around to one Elixni with all 4 of his Elixni arms shaking up drinks. We took that inspiration and we found a Destiny spin on it. Criminal syndicates have moved in.
You're working with the syndicates. You are building your notoriety with them.
The 3 different syndicates that we created, we're going to be dealing with. The Pikers are Elixni. They're kind of like an anarchist biker gang. Unlike other Elixni, they're atheists.
I like that look.
They worship machines. They follow relics. We've also got the Totality Division, a subset of the Barrent Imperium. They're run by Scions, and their enforcer Rao is going to be the leader of this group. And we've got Tharsis Reformation, They are a breakaway group from Maya's Vex. They're starting to think for themselves and figure out what it means to be an individual.
And they're playing
They're
cards.
starting to do crime. They're wearing clothes.
Crime and wearing clothes are what all individuals
So the
do.
first Vex
We need to have new
allies?
people to fight and new people to root for.
Really?
And this was our opportunity.
Do they get to speak?
But the
Hey, do
heart
we get to
of the
hear
Renegade
a Vex
fantasy is not
robot
just surviving the lawless frontier. It's garnering
Or they're gonna be
influence
silent?
and building your power so that you can bend it to your will.
In the end game, to get the best weapons, the best armor, the coolest exclusive cosmetics, you're going to need to work with the syndicates to increase your notoriety by completing jobs successfully alone or with a crew, and then doing so you'll unlock our highest risk, highest reward jobs, and at the same time you're going to have the ability to do the special job that'll take you off planet to the dungeon.
A dungeon? Okay.
And you'll also unlock Invasion.
That's right. Invasion is back. But this doesn't work
Invasion?
like that. It's opt-in. The invader has some initiative when invasion begins. This is more strategic.
You scan the battlefield and you're like, okay, is this the right time for me to take the shot? And what's the right tool for me to do it? Do I use an airstrike or a vehicle? Do I use a Cabal Walker?
Just watch out for that double cross.
Yeah.
The chicken walker. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I love the look on it too. Like, I love how it's Destiny
Renegades marks
and
the Guardian's descent into a criminal underworld.
Star Wars mashed together.
A world of shadows and syndicates, where your light and your choices will cut a path forward. You'll fight dirty, break the rules, and build a hardened crew that can take on any job, standing up to the most ruthless
I do
syndicates
hope
in
that
the
we
system.
do get lightsabers. That would be so cool. I mean, what am I saying that for? I mean, of course we're gonna get lightsabers, but I hope we like get all like the cool, like if Titans do the whole throwing thing too, and I hope we get to customize them too, because I would love a purple lightsaber.
Even in the darkest corners of this world, there's still a glimmer of hope. Guardians will have to find their own version of balance between loyalty and survival, between power and purpose. Because there's more at play than credits and contracts. Forces are on the move, ones that see you not just as a player,
So
but
is
as
that
a
supposed to
piece
be like a
on the
Darth
board.
Vader right there? That Cabal guy?
To change the future, you'll have to become the one thing they never saw coming.
Well, doy. What the hell is that?
Start the engines. Take off as soon as you can.
Wait, is that the new dredging? Seriously, I do hope that we get to customize the lightsaber.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, I love Vidocs. I gotta stop looking at chat. Let's get the show on the road. So pre-orders for the new Renegade Standard Edition start right now. And we actually have some added bonuses. Even if you pre-ordered the, what do we got? Year of Prophecy Edition, we have 2 additional cosmetics that are going live today with the patch. The Starside Introduction Emblem and a new exotic ship, which we call the Renegade Leader. You're going to see it on the screen right now, and I'm going to ask a silly question. What are we looking at?
I mean, I think we're kind of looking at something that looks like
I
an
want
X-Wing
it.
here a little bit, maybe a little red leader action. So, I mean, this is one of our homages, right? That's the team had a lot of fun with. So we wanted to build like an iconic ship that kicked off the road to Renegades here over the next few months. And what's cool about this is you're actually going to see your ship, whatever ship you have equipped,
this is gonna
it's going to
be
be flying
fun.
by when you
This is
deploy
gonna
your
be
Renegade
fun.
abilities in the Lost
I'm gonna
Frontier.
love it.
And also, you're going to be using your ship to go between different areas within the Plaguelands here in the Reclaim activity that's launching today as well.
Awesome. So with, pre-orders talked about, let's dive into the Vidoc. Robbie, where are we starting?
Yeah, so I think it's like probably best. There's so much like to do a really kind of quick overview of what we looked at here. So Renegades thrust you and your crew into the heart of a lost frontier that's emerged around Mars, Europa, and Venus, all new locations across those places. And you're trying to keep up with Drifter, ultimately, who's chasing startling visions of calamity and rumors of a powerful new Cabal faction that's rising, the Baron Imperium. That Imperium's installed themselves as top dog in the criminal underworld, and Drifter's
I guess
convinced
the one on the
that
left
the Nine
is probably the new
involved
Dredgen,
with the Imperium's rapid
aka
growth. It
the
wouldn't
new
be the
Sith,
first time the Nine
or
have meddled
the
in
first
the
Sith.
background.
I
Some
don't know.
crazy things. with Cabal-related enemies. Anyway, so to deal with the Imperium, you're going to take on the role of a renegade as a guardian. You're going to smuggle, sabotage, bounty hunt your way to the top of the lawless frontier, and that means you're going to be working with the shady syndicates to build your influence within Tharsis. But ultimately, like, this is for the right reason. You're being the bad guy to do the right thing because you can't really ignore this prophecy of extinction that showed up at the end of Edge of Fate. Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned Drifter. We have a pretty stellar cast here, and there was a new character that we showed off in there.
Yeah, we showed one of our new characters. That's a new member of your crew who comes from the Praxic Order, actually. And they've been tasked with tracking down reports of dredging activity across the Lawless Frontier. And they've also been tasked with keeping an eye on Drifter because he's been seeing and saying some crazy stuff lately. And this is all being done in defiance of the Vanguard, so this Praxic Order is
Carbonated Drifter
of everything that's happening. We've got a bunch of new villains too, alongside the criminal syndicates and their bosses. And we just don't want to spoil too much right now. We're going to have more on the story closer to launch.
Holy crap.
So we've got smuggling, sabotaging, bounty hunting, wearing clothes, doing crime.
It's important.
Let's talk about the gameplay.
Yeah, so being an individual means crimes and clothes. We've established that.
Ball-sized stormtroopers.
So one thing to make sure is clear here, in the campaign that has a bunch of story missions.
Very interesting.
It's going to introduce you to also the jobs that you'll be taking in addition to those story missions within the Lawless Frontier. So you'll be kind of climbing the ranks of the criminal underworld here because the syndicates are not going to trust you out the gate. You kind of have to garner influence with them before they're going to help you out in dealing with the Imperium. And so then at the conclusion of the campaign, once that Imperium's chokehold is kind of loosened on Tharsis and the Lawless Frontier, you unintentionally kick off a turf war between the three syndicates because now they're all vying for power because you kind of toppled the top dog.
Kylo's going to be into this.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about this. In December, the Lawless Frontier is coming. It's not just like a concept. It's an activity.
Yeah, and I know we're showing something on screen right now that is when you go through this daily ritual of dealing with contested territory, you'll be able to target the syndicate you want to kind of take down in that moment. But ultimately, the Lawless Frontier is a new activity where you'll be carrying out a variety of those missions, those smuggle, bounty hunt, sabotaging. I think you kind of can tell what they're going to be all about just with the name of them. And this is you just partnering with and against the syndicates. And so it's fast, it's tactical, and it's going to throw a ton of enemies and a variety of objectives within each of these jobs at your fire team in new locations across Mars, Europa, and Venus. This is all about big, chaotic co-op action within the Lawless Frontier. Yeah.
Cool. And then when you're working with the syndicates, I expect to be paid when I take on a job. What are they going to be giving us?
Every criminal does.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Don't all Guardians like to get paid after a job?
Talk about at the top because Tom and I are really excited about this.
I really love the look of these new...
The Cabal have been dropping pods on your head for 8 years now, something like that. And so with one of our Renegade abilities, we kind of get to turn the table on the Cabal and drop one on them. It also supplies you some ammo and stuff too, some nice convenience there. But the campaign ultimately introduce you to a number of these abilities. And the Turf War, you'll actually choose which syndicates you want to pledge to in order to unlock more abilities and a bigger suite of upgrades. Also, depending on which syndicate you're pledged to, there will be other bonuses and weekly shipments coming into Tharsis as well that you get to take advantage of. And so one thing I want to note too is that all of these Renegade abilities that we're talking about in the Vidoc, they're purely additive to your subclass abilities. The Renegade abilities do not override any of your other Guardian abilities.
Pretty sure they'll probably
your melee,
show
your
that later on.
That's all at your disposal on top of these Renegade abilities. We really wanted to lean into the idea of this fantasy of you working with your crew and the various roles you could play within the Lawless Frontiers of all these different type of jobs that you're going to be doing.
Awesome. And then I have to give a shout out to James Sy. He's frankly one of the biggest Star Wars nerds I've ever met in my life. But he was talking about the blaster and that feel the first time he shot it. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, I love that blaster, and because my personal joke is it's like Forerunner at home. It's kind of like a legendary version of that exotic, and it just feels fucking incredible. Oh, sorry, it feels incredible. Excuse me, for kids at home.
What's your language?
So we're gonna have a weapons deep dive close to launch. I know it keeps saying that there's a ton of the Vidoc. There's even more to be talked about in the next few months.
Warlock is holy.
But what
That's
we
not
can
fair.
say about
They got that
blasters
freaking
right now is they're
sniper
new, powerful
that the Mandalorian
weapons
was
in your
using.
arsenal. And they actually draw ammo straight from your reserves.
What is that one that the Titan's
and
holding?
so the mechanic of this
It
is
looks
basically
familiar.
heating up the gun and then venting it out. So no reloading
feel like
technically,
that's something
but
that-
since you have to like charge up heat and you have to think
remember
about
where it's
overheating,
from.
it's a whole mechanic and has its own special
I'll have to
reload
look it up later.
associated with it. And so it's going to be all about finding like the rhythm of pace and battle between building up heat and venting it. It's really fun to play around with, and the team is really honing in on something like that feels really special and new. It's cool.
All right.
It's cool, yeah.
So we're not going to go too deep on campaign because spoilers. We want to let players discover that. Yeah. We've talked about the Lawless Frontier, but one of the components is invasions.
Oh yeah. So you're going to unlock invasion as part of that turf war we've been talking about, and the syndicates are like reaching out to you, and they're giving you contracts to play Hitman against other Guardian crews. So it's 1 versus 3. It's you versus a Guardian crew on the Lawless Frontier. And like we said in the Vidoc, invasion is 100% opt-in for both the invaders and the defending fire team crew. But don't worry, because all of the difficulty modes, there's always an option that is available to you if you don't want to engage in invasion. Yeah, we want to make sure that, because like even though some people love that PvE chocolate mixing with that PvP peanut butter, we wanted to make sure that if you didn't want to do that,
That's
there's
one way to put it.
always an option for you to do something else within the Lawless Frontier.
And then if you do opt in, though, there's more rewards or incentive, right?
I mean, yeah, you're like you're basically saying, hey, fire team, I'm open to having another Guardian come and wreck shop and mess my day up, right? And so you're taking a higher risk, so therefore there's a chance of higher reward depending on how you handle that, right?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so that covers gameplay effectively. We do have a dungeon. We showed a little tease, but again, no spoilers. We'll let you discover that on day one.
I feel like that
let's talk
dungeon's
about
probably
the
just going to
last
be
thing
on
that
Venus.
Players may have seen, or the
But
first
I
thing,
do
honestly,
hope that
saw
we
chat
do actually
blowing
get to
up.
go back
Let's talk about
and
the saber.
like
Right.
how
So,
we used to.
This is
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to get like the
Destiny's
old
homage, right? It's our
locations.
love letter to
But
the Star
you know,
Wars
fingers crossed on that
lightsaber.
one.
And we're calling it the Praxic Blade. Again, we'll be sharing a whole lot more closer to launch. I'm really sorry. I feel like a parrot right now. Just
Good
saying the
enough
same
for me.
thing. But what I can say is that the Praxic Blade is going to be highly customizable in both gameplay and visuals. And so there's going to be a ton of parts and components that you'll be chasing and discovering throughout the Lawless Frontier, within the turf war, within the dungeon itself.
Okay.
And this is all about kind of making the Praxic Blade your own. And you saw it in the Vidoc, but
You better
the blade
make it
really
change
does feel truly
color.
exotic right now. You
I
can
want
do
that
things with
purple
it that no other weapon
lightsaber.
can do in Destiny, and I really can't wait until players get their hands on it here in a few months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Renegades. We have 2 more big subjects to go through today. So thanks for running us through that.
Of course.
Our next section is going to be all about quality of life. It's going to be about a lot of the feedback that we've been seeing in the live game since Edge of Fate launched. And then after that, we'll be talking about Ash and Iron with another cast of devs to talk about a bunch of cool stuff. So ultimately, we have quite a lot coming over the next few months. We're going to be talking about a bunch of high-level goals, objectives, some of our philosophy. We do not have a roadmap today, but we will have a roadmap in the next few weeks outlining our road to Renegades, which I've been calling it selfishly. So we'll figure out a fancier name for it at some point, but let's dive in. I think the first thing that I want to talk about here, let me get this up. I mean, ultimately, this feels like we're having a mini community summit on stream.
Yeah.
But let's talk about rewards. Let's talk about the portal. Let's talk about power. Let's talk about the climb and the feedback that we've been seeing.
Yeah, so to do a little bit more table setting and framing here, like we said at the top of the stream, we've been taking a lot of this feedback to heart, right? We've been listening very intently. We've been looking at our data, and Dylan, we know we need to make some changes, right? And so this is what this whole next section is going to be about. We're going to talk about a ton of stuff. Some of it, a little bit of it is going to come from Ash and Iron, a lot more in Renegades, and then even more in the future. And so coming back to the power climb, we want it to be faster, we want it to have improved rewards, and we really want it to highlight new and aspirational activities when Renegades launches. And so that means looking at the Renegades campaign and the Renegades jobs in the Lawless Frontier and the activities you do there, and making sure that they both feel like great sources of seasonal power. We know with the Edge of Fate, after you completed the campaign on Kepler, that there was a bunch of cool stuff to do and some rewards to get, but it didn't fit into the seasonal power game, right? It didn't feel like it was a viable path. And so these big chaotic fire team based jobs that we've built and all that variety we're pouring into it is going to be this engine to climb seasonal power. If you're just loving that activity, you're going to be able to spend an enormous amount of time there.
Yeah, and you touched on aspirational content. So when we look at it, you're doing the power climb, but you're looking at the end game, and our raids and dungeons are a part of that.
Yes, they are. So we are making sure here, there's two approaches we're taking and a bunch of work that's going to come out of it. So our focus initially here is going to be on the new raid and dungeon content in this conversation. So that is Desert Perpetual, the Epic Raid here in a couple weeks, and then the dungeon releasing with Ash and Iron. And so we want to make sure that those are more dependable sources of power, both from weekly challenges, some of which that are going to happen in Ash and Iron, but then also we're going to be looking at the power drops that come when you're completing encounters and looking to see if we can adjust those and juice them up a little bit. The other big area, because what we're talking about when we say aspiration is like in-game. You're doing an in-game thing. I should be rewarded for that. So with the launch of the Epic Raid for the Desert Perpetual and Epic Raid and then the dungeon afterwards, we're going to make all drops, the base drops you earn in that content, tier 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ultimately attesting to like players got through some of the power grind, they went into the raid and they were seeing tier 1, tier 2 drops, and that didn't feel like endgame loot. So
it did not.
We're making this tier 3 is the baseline, but then you can build up to tier 4 and tier 5 as you add more challenge, add more difficulty.
Yeah, and I think we hit on it, but I just want to make sure. We talked about improved rewards right around some of the newer content that is coming. This effort, though, is also being applied across the portal itself. And so, Dylan, I know you and I have talked about it a bunch. We talked about solo ops, right? You mentioned Caldera.
Yeah, let's talk about variety in the portal and more reasons or more ways to play.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that theory right here is just like that thinking is we just have to improve the rewards, right? And so a lot of what we're doing is going to be about bringing the baseline of the reward experience with Renegades up to that, closer to that solo ops experience, and also really incentivize playing in fire teams more because, hey, we know Destiny's feeling lonely right now if all you do is spend time in the mines, right? And so we want to do we know we need to do a much better job at that. The other
just to go into that example, like we're talking about Caldera, it's a solo op activity, and players feel it is the most viable path to power. So a social game like Destiny, it is a problem where you feel like you should be playing alone for all the reasons. It's like, hey, sorry friends, you want to play raid, you want to play something else? Sorry, I'm going to go into Caldera and play alone.
Yeah,
we want to address that. We want to make sure Destiny is social, fun to play with friends, while still maintaining, hey, as a solo player, you can absolutely hop in, but we aren't going to make you feel worse. So example there too, we said, hey, we're going to tone down Caldera and solo ops. We're actually reverting that. We had announced it, we're taking that back, and as you said, that's the new benchmark. We're going to raise things up to feel like Caldera and feel rewarding like solo ops.
Yeah, and we've already talked about that. We're going to do some of that in Ash and Iron. One of the other things we're looking at doing in Ash and Iron right now is taking our bonus engrams and having them just more consistently award power deeper into the climb.
Again, I don't think I've ever done Caldera.
Also,
I believe I have seen it, but I don't think I've ever done that one.
Where we can talk
but I know I've done like the mines and the Clovis Bray facility spot.
So the other thing we're going to be doing with bonus engrams when Renegades launches is they're going to
one on the moon as well.
Weekly ritual, a thing that
when they brought the mines back in, it was kind of nice.
That's going to accelerate you into power climb.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
let's go back to that old spot.
Effectively, weekly reset, curated activities from Bungie,
back
so you have a moment each week of
let's
hop
during
into
the Red
raid
War.
night. Let's do Grandmasters, things like that.
What's nice about that back?
The thing you're speaking to, Dylan,
I get the point that it can be a little annoying.
Yeah, clan night, raid night, right? We got to get that feeling of,
it can be annoying to do it over and over again.
On Tuesday, and there's just like a bunch of stuff to look forward to. And so a few ways we're going to do that is one with a new system that we're calling Vanguard orders that comes out in Renegades. So Vanguard orders are actually this like new objective system where you're going to be, and we should have a mock-up on screen right now. It looks like our monitor isn't showing the exact right thing just for our place in the studio, so I'm just going to assume it's working. And so within these Vanguard orders, you're going to have all these different objectives that you can do, and you don't have to pick these up like bounties, right? These are things that will just be automatically granted to you when you log into the portal.
Ooh.
And then what's really cool about these is that they pull some of that like Destiny 1 bounty vibe, where as you complete an order on the left-hand side of the screen of this mock-up here, you will actually roll. You can roll on higher tier orders, like a legendary order that will give you consistent rewards, or an exotic tier order that can give you exotic tier rewards. And so this is all about just creating a bunch more like little moments of variety within the portal and these different little objectives that you can do. We already touched on bonus engrams a little bit, and how we're going to be reworking those even more with Renegades launches to feed into that idea of like, look at all these things in the portal. I know if I go and gobble up all the green engrams, I'm accelerating on my power climb, and that's much easier and clearer for players to understand. But the other place that we've been getting a ton of feedback on, and we're going to be making changes to, is the weekly conquests, basically. So right now, we have the concept of the conquest as a milestone on your seasonal power journey, and it gives you like a massive, like big dump of rewards. We are going to be making those we're going to be making it repeatable, but then there's going to be a weekly reward for them. There's no way for us, honestly, to balance the crazy amount of rewards you get from the milestones, but we're going to make sure we incentivize them and create a weekly version.
And we actually have a change going live today to make conquests repeatable, but the rewards component is what we need to focus on for a future update.
Yeah, and Dylan, you and I were talking about this a bunch over the last couple of days. Is like we want to get back to that. Like we want to get conquest closer to that GM feeling, to that Grandmaster Nightfall feeling of the past, and that's kind of like our little North Star for that. Yep. The other big thing too that we've been listening to feedback on, and we're moving really, really fast on right now, is getting weekly legacy raid and dungeon content as like a tunnel from the portal to
weekly
that.
Legacy.
So to set expectations here with Renegades, this is going to first come in the form of reasons to play this content, to do like weekly challenges and earn powerful rewards from them. Right? Again, we want this weekly reset. We want you to clearly know when you log in. Here's a bunch of stuff to look forward to play with your friends and others. The reason I have to set expectations, though, is like we hear the feedback about wanting the gear reprised from raids and dungeons. Dylan, if we could just like flip a switch and make that happen, I think we'd be more than happy to do that. But it's just not that simple. There's a bunch of work that goes into actually creating the new gear and the gear tiers. And so we are going to be looking to make the reward experience of Legacy and Raid dungeons better as time goes on. Our first focus is making it fit into that weekly reset and into that power climb.
Yeah. And we have our first step today with dungeon lairs. In the portal, there are going to be three encounters coming from Legacy dungeon content. You can get power bumps from those. You can get portal gear from those, but we hear the feedback on general rewards.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be looking to add more to this, like what this weekly ritual feels like. These are the areas we are targeting initially here for Renegades.
All right. So let's move on to our final two subjects. Really are centered around sandbox.
Yeah.
First of which is going to be build crafting, and then the second is around just our general approach to balance. So we have another list here of. Honestly, we've been getting a ton of feedback around featured gear. We've been getting feedback around like legendary weapon tiering. What are we changing?
Yeah, so this whole space is about expanding build crafting and gear chase. And we hear y'all. Like we hear that featured gear is far too restrictive for how you're playing the game.
More vault space.
So one of the big changes we're making is all exotic weapons and armor are going to be featured gear starting in Renegades.
Well, the question is, how much are they going to be expanding?
Prismatic builds, they're back on the table. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You're not having to think about what exotic you put on. It's all about what build you want to craft, right? The other thing that we've been listening to a lot when it comes to the gear chase is like, hey, you might earn a tier 1, 2, or 3 weapon, a roll of a weapon you really love, your personal god roll, or the community saying this is a god roll. And you're looking at that and you're like, man, it's cool, but like it's not that top tier, right? And so in Shadow and Order, which is our major update coming after Renegades, you're going to be able to enhance the tier of your legendary weapons all the way from tier 1 to tier 5 with a new currency and a new feature that we're building for those. Again, this is all about expanding that gear chase.
Yeah. And before we get ahead of ourselves, like as a player, and I'm guessing in chat, people are saying, oh, so I should be keeping my tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 weapons. Where am I going to put these? What's going on with vault space?
Yeah, so with Renegades, we are going to give you more vault space. That is the thing we're going to be doing. And also the team is working on a pretty big update to improve the sorting and filtering of just using your vault in-game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have many more details in the coming weeks and months when we get this roadmap together. But our final note in this section before we go to balance is the portal scoring.
Yes, yeah. So right now with the featured and new gear, there is just an intrinsic bonus that you get for wearing that gear. I guess it's extrinsic because we're asking you to put it on. But anyway, if you have it on, you get a score bonus in the portal, which means you're not only thinking about like activity customization, your build, but also now you have to think about the score too, and like, should I wear this or not in order to chase the high score? And for the vast majority of the experiences in the portal, we think that's just too much complexity right now. And so we are sunsetting that idea. And so again, this is going to drastically open up the space for you to basically use whatever you want in the vast majority of things you play inside of the portal when you're chasing gear and doing that power climb. Yeah.
And a North Star for this, when y'all were talking about it, we've had a ton of conversations with the dev team, is like, there's a lot of feeling of, I'm playing Destiny the wrong way, and this was contributing to it because I had to think, oh, if I put this armor on, it's wrong. This helps that out and gets you into the fun faster.
Yes,
so.
And I'm like, we do believe and see a space for ways to highlight gear and exotics and things like that, stuff we've done with the artifact for a while now. We want it to be part of the game because I think, pushing people off of the super hot stuff is really healthy sometimes to just have more fun and experiment with things. But we know that we need to find ways to make this feel like a bonus and more excitement to do it versus what we currently have now, which is why we're making these changes.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, and then our last section here for quality of life, let's talk about sandbox balance. Y'all have been really taking a lot of the feedback to heart since the announce of quite a few nerfs and some balancing, and you have some new approaches to philosophy when it comes to this.
Yeah, so at the top here, one of the things we're doing is we're upgrading our internal process for kind of how we evaluate our buff and nerf policies and also the timing of which when we go out and do those. And so a big part of that here through Renegades launch is going to be non-critical balance changes are on pause right now. And so this is partially in reaction to obviously some of the sentiment around some of the changes we're making, but it's giving time for us to make sure that when we do start to do more balance updates a little more frequently again, we communicate honestly. We just need to do a better job about communicating about why we're changing something and some of the intent behind it. Mm-hmm. And the reason I speak about this, because you asked me this a couple times in our rehearsal, Dylan, it's like, what does non-critical mean? Sorry, I'm taking your words here.
No.
I'm just on a roll. We really want to make sure that we're still making balance changes, or if we have to ban something for that epic raid race or the dungeon race that's going to happen with Renegades, right? The quality of that experience is incredibly important to us, and we know it's incredibly important to y'all. And so, again, we're putting a pause on nerfs and balance changes for now, but if we really need to change something because it's critical for those upcoming events, we'll make changes.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's like, there's some things where you watch somebody go on a Titan and kill a raid boss in 2 punches, like, that's critical. That needs to be toned down or balanced around. But other things, like, we actually have a list here of, we announced some tuning changes or nerfs that we're going to be reverting. Last week we were talking about Grand Overture and Queenbreaker.
Yeah.
We're reverting the changes there.
Yes.
And then we had some reworks to exotics like Stronghold, Chromatic Fire. We're going to be reverting those. And then as a part of this new initiative where we're looking at our philosophy, reevaluating how we do these things, we'll be looking how we approach it and how we communicate it.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Cool. And then final note to end on a high, honestly, like we've been talking about nerfs and all that. Let's talk about buffs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we've got some buffs. We've been working with the gameplay team around supers and subclasses that are going to be coming, some with Ash and Iron here in October, but then also in December with Renegades. And I think you've been talking with them a little more closely, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Big thank you to Ben Womack, Eric Smith, Sandbox team. A couple notes, like we saw a thread where folks were saying, hey, the original 3 supers that launched with Destiny 11 years ago, happy birthday.
Yeah.
They feel a bit undertuned. And I saw a note where it's like, Ward of Dawn, Titan Bubble, that needs to be brought up. Golden Gun. I know Warlocks are getting some abilities changes too.
Turrets.
So
turrets changes coming.
I get to wearing the helmet of
and
Saint
other
14
things too outside of turrets. So we will have a full list over the coming weeks, and honestly, it may build. We need to get our roadmap together so we know exactly which hot fixes, updates they're going to be rolling out in. But we'll be as transparent as possible with you. So to really end it and get into the awesome Ash and Iron content, thank you again to everybody that's been giving us feedback. Thank you to everybody that's been playing and diving into all the changes. We know some need work, and we're going to be doing that. We've been listening, and now we're getting through the planning stages, and we're executing on a bunch of changes over the next few updates and beyond Renegades. So, Robbie, thank you for joining us. As we're going into Ash and Iron, we got to get the couch full of new devs.
Yep.
So, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. And we're listening, and we're going to keep responding to the feedback. So thank you all so much. And let's get some more people on the couch. I've been talking too much.
Yeah, you brought up Vidoc. We have a trailer for Ash and Iron to roll.
Let's do it.
The Conductor's forces are rampant to the Plague Lands.
Yeah, I've already seen it.
We're sending you in to investigate and take action. Be ready for anything.
I feel like I should have done a video, but didn't come to thought at the time. I still like that we still get to go back to the Playlands. But I want to see what is in store. And see what's going on with all the dungeon layer stuff. I do want that new Crucible shotgun. I like lever action shotguns. They look cool. Reminds you of the Terminator. In my opinion, anyway. And I'm pretty sure a good amount of people have already thought that. That submachine gun looks good too. So is Drain get a new look for or something like is Drain getting a new little upgrade or something? I'm just curious.
It's good to carry a gun.
I also do like that we get to drive rigs in the activity. Does look like fun.
Stay in the fight. We're almost home.
I do like that axe. I do like the new look. Kind of brings the whole Cabal and Iron Banner kind of thing together.
Welcome back.
Since
in about 20
selling
minutes,
its new
the
spot.
content from that trailer is going live. Let's talk about Ash and Iron. We have a bunch of really cool stuff coming with a new activity called Reclaim. We have a new introductory activity that's going to be giving you some insight into the narrative. We also have an exotic mission coming in October. Team's finishing up on that, and we're super excited for the weapon that's associated with that. And we actually have some updates to recurring events like Iron Banner, Arms Week, Festival of the Lost, and more. So without further ado, hello, welcome to our couch, wonderful developers. Some of you have been here before, but Noah, first on the couch, this is your first time.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome. For folks to learn who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? What's your title?
Yeah, my name's Noah Pearson. I'm an associate sandbox designer here at Bungie. While my title is like officially working on the armor team, I do work in exotic armor from time to time, but you find me more commonly working on the seasonal artifacts, like the one for Heresy, the current one for Season of Reclamation. Both those are mine. But I've also branched out and I've gotten to do a pretty cool exotic weapon in this release as well.
Awesome. Next on the couch, Jerome, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, really quick, let's get a summary. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Jerome. I'm a narrative lead, so we do the lore, we do the dialogue, we do the cutscenes, and we plan the overall story for Destiny 2.
Awesome. Last but not least, Clayton.
Hey.
Welcome back. I believe you were last here for Revenant and Into the Light.
Yep.
Yeah, for folks that may have missed out on those streams, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a design lead here for the activities and events area on Destiny 2, and in the past I've been an activity designer or feature owner for activities like Onslaught or Coil or Seraph Shield. So it's been really fun getting my hands dirty in different types of activities and bringing those experiences to the players.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So as we're diving through some stuff, we already have gameplay rolling. This is our new activity, Reclaim. But Jerome, let's talk about narrative. How are things kicking off?
For sure. Well, Maya Sundaresh, the conductor, has somewhat overextended herself on Kepler during the events of Edge of Fate.
Okay.
And she foolishly tried to meddle in the affairs of the Nine and essentially assassinated 3 of the 9, which is the 3 of Earth.
3 being a single entity, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's going to have huge knock-on effects for the people of Earth in physics and chemistry, and we'll hear a lot more about that in Renegades. But for now, Maya is somewhat depleted, right? And she is starting to lose control over her collective. She's starting to bleed individuals at the edges of her collective, and those are the pants-wearing, poker-playing Vex that you saw.
Crime. Yeah.
Exactly. And so she needs to reassert control over her collective. And in order to do that, she needs a signal boost to maximize the power of her waning Echo of Command. And the best tool for that job is, of course, Golden Age tech. And the best place to find Golden Age tech is in the Vanguard Vault, which is why Ash and Iron begins with a defense of the tower from a smash and grab by Maya's forces, both Vex and conscripted Cabal, which you'll learn more about during the season. But that's going to be a start, but not sufficient for her plans. So she will need a fully functional war set network to really expand her reach. And there's only one place where you can find that, and that's in the Plaguelands, which is where most of Ashen Iron takes place.
Awesome. So speaking of the smash and grab, when players first sign in for Ashen Iron, they're going to see a node that they can launch for the introductory mission. It's not auto-launched. You're going to select it, jump in when you're ready. But after that, you'll hop into Reclaim. Those are going to be some new activities. And Clayton, let's get a quick overview. What are players seeing on the screen?
Yeah, so Reclaim is our new 3-player activity. It comes with 3 different variants. It has players, like Jerome was saying, going into the Plaguelands, stopping Maya's forces from taking Golden Age tech and reclaiming those areas, those territories. And so you notice that there's a lack of Fallen, but we, through our ambient combatants and our environmental storytelling, you'll know a little bit more about what has happened there, how Maya's come in and pushed them all out. You'll see some of them trying to fight back to get in because they think that's their land, right? And as a player, you're trying to go in there and play in a similar way that you might find like Overthrow, where we took a lot of inspiration from. So you get to choose how you want to fill that progress bar. Do you want to finish a bunch of encounters that are randomly generated, which adds to a bunch of replayability? You can progress by finding hidden chests or defeating roaming high-value targets. There's collectibles in there as well, all without a timer, so you and your fire team can strategize and take their time to go through the area. Awesome. And then once you've completed the area, unlike Overthrow, you move to the next area by way of ship that you'll see on the screen.
Stellar. Yeah, and I was talking to our gameplay folks before this launched, and we talked a bit about there's a bit of nether DNA in here, where you have your main objectives, and then you can find things throughout the area as well.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, we have Vivian went ham and gave us these quite frankly unbalanced buffs that will have a rare chance of spawning, and you get to choose which one. One example is that if you choose it, you'll just be radiant and. What is the other? Radiant and Amplified, thank you. Yeah, just the whole time. So, yeah, have fun choosing between these crazy buffs and using them to finish the activity.
They've expanded a little
and when
more,
we're talking about collectibles, there's going to be some more collectibles too, correct?
Absolutely. We're continuing the pass forward from the previous expansion. And
I saw that.
Those lore drops will tell players a lot about what to expect in Renegades, both in the cast and the themes. Though it's not explicit, so they'll have to
there's our
use a little
ship.
detective work, we hope. But it will give a lot of information about what's to come.
Got it. So these are going to be like the data pads you find in the portal.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about weapons. Let's talk about the loot. And Noah, now it's time for the spotlight to go on you.
I'm all ears.
First up, let's talk about the exotic that's going to be in the rewards pass for Ashen Iron. This is going to be our pulse rifle.
Yeah, so Noon Malpice is going to be our reward pass exotic for this release. Obviously, with the Edge of Fate, we released a rocket frame pulse rifle, Mint Retrograde, that people have really taken to a liking for. And we kind of took a look at that, and we're like, well, what's a cool way to one-up that and +1 it for an exotic? So you may notice from the gameplay that this rocket pulse doesn't just shoot the micro rockets. It shoots sticky bombs. And these will stick onto the environment, they'll stick onto enemies, and when you hold down your special reload button, they'll pop little firecrackers. And it's really fun to just sort of spray them out across a group of guys, and then you turn around, walk away from them, and click the button, and have them pop all behind you, because cool Guardians don't look at explosions.
So this may say a lot about me as a person, but you can also stick these to your teammates, right?
I guess you'll have to see.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the next exotic. This is going to be tied to an exotic mission that's coming out in October, and I can already see you kind of getting excited, like Vivian was excited for the crossbows that we added. Let's talk about the Iron Axe.
Yeah, he kept me waiting, huh? Yeah, so the exotic mission. Way back with Rise of Iron, as a player, I remember the YouTube videos coming out ahead of it of YouTubers being like, hey, maybe Bungie's gonna give us this axe that's in the marketing, and obviously didn't come to pass in that release, and then come final shape, Crows got it, and I, much like many people, were like, man, I want that axe.
When's my turn?
I want that thing. So when I heard that we were gonna be doing a little return to the Plaguelands, it was I'm gonna twist whatever arms necessary to finally get the thing that I know I want.
I love the look of that. And it does look like a ruined Iron Lord axe, but it looks so cool.
That's no relic. That's our new exotic weapon.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think for Clayton and Jerome, since this exotic mission, the team is finishing up the touches and really building this experience. It'll be launching in October. So let's just give a quick preview, no spoilers or no deep spoilers, about what's the premise.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Maya wants to expand her reach, and the best way to do that is like the same way you would with the Wi-Fi in your house. You need expanders, you need routers, right, to boost that signal. And so she is going to be looking to get her hands on Warset technology, which is why we'll be working with Saint 14 and Anna Bray throughout the season. Saint 14 is sort of our tactical expert, and then Anna, as with her association of Rasputin, having
with that look, that's when it's like full powered
on Warsats.
Okay.
And not to get too deep into spoilers, but you will be working with 3 of Kyle-Toll's
I do hope that there's some good ornaments with that thing. I really do hope.
October can't come soon enough. So let's come back to day one.
Oh man, that is going to be so much
10
fun.
minutes, 11 minutes until launch.
The
We also have a slate of legendary
that's going to
weapons
be
coming out. We have some armor sets in the portal that are going to have
so
brand
much
new
fun.
armor set bonuses.
I know
but we also
like
have brand new
some of the stuff is going to be
weapons.
little
And I know a couple of these things
different
are
for
kind of
good amount of
complementary
players.
to exotics.
Yeah.
But I'm happy
so
for that.
With
I
Ash
am
and Iron,
happy.
we as Sandbox were like taking a look at some exotics we wanted to bring up, and we talked about Mida and Sturm getting some updates to bring them up to that
So that's
modern
gonna be part
parity.
of a new
But,
exotic
like,
mission.
when those weapons came out during year 1, they came with their paired weapons, and like during that time, it made sense, like to have 2 primaries. That was what the game was. So when you're taking a look at like bringing them up to modern Sandbox standards, you're like, well, we should probably hit it for the paired weapons as well too. So we took a look at some of our other special archetypes, and we're like, what could we set up for this? So with this release, we've talked about them, I believe, in the TWID, but we are going to have a rocket frame Drang Unfall, and
A rocket frame
new,
Drang?
lightweight Mida macro tool shotgun.
Okay.
And both of them have perk pools that kind of key off of being those
I'm
paired
down for
weapons.
that.
So like Mida macro tool has Discord and Trench Barrel, and it was really fun to like run that with Mida. Because then you have like, you pop a couple guys to get those like attachments onto Mida, and then you switch and you have Discord proc, and you like slap a guy, and then you just are able to like pump into a bunch of dudes. And it's got the really cool draw animation from Wastelander back during 30th anniversary,
nice.
so you get that cool like
I
cowboy
like it.
draw. And it's so fun to run
And
around
the sidearm is arc, correct?
It is our second arc rocket frame sidearm. It's got a pretty big mag size, so instead of volt shot on this one, it has jolting feedback. Which is pretty fun to plug a couple rockets into a guy and have them jolted, and then pop them with like a really powerful Sturm shot.
Awesome. Yeah, and these are going to be added so through the portal. Reclaim is going to be living in the portal in the fire team area, and that's where you're going to earn some of these. We also have Crucible Ops is going to be the source of the shotgun, and then a couple other things as well that you'll discover in just a few minutes here. So let's move on. Our last topic of the day is going to be around events, our recurring events. And the first thing that kicks off is actually a new one to celebrate Reclaim. And Clayton, what are we going to be doing today?
Yeah, we're launching with New Territories Reclaim. It's a new standard event that will highlight a new activity. And so we do that with our daily challenges, weekly challenges, or it's for a week, so 1 weekly challenge, and then it has its own reward track and an event home that you can launch the activity from as well.
Awesome. And then I believe it's next week, we also have Iron Banner coming back.
That's right.
So is that also going to have an event home?
Yes, it'll have an event home. Same slew of things where daily challenges, a weekly challenge. You'll have your reward track. We have a hand cannon coming in there. We have an armor set. And you'll have your title and your triumphs as well.
Yeah, I believe we redacted the new set bonuses for Iron Banner, but I've heard they're actually kind of quite fun.
Yeah, pretty cool. Might want to hold on to it when you get your hands on that axe.
Awesome. And then the third event that's going to be coming is Arms Week, Noah. Coming back, the first one was all centered around, let's look at hand cannons. We had the new shotgun style hand cannon.
Yeah.
And then with this one, it's going to be shotguns.
Yeah, we're taking a look at shotguns this time around. So much like during the prior Arms Week, we will also have a cool slate of shotgun mods this time around. My favorite of which, when the designer who was working on them, Taylor Bjorndal, who was on the stream before, when he was starting to work on them, me and him were sort of bouncing ideas back and forth. And I was talking about like old rapid fire frame shotguns when they had like the really fast rate of fire. And I was like, what if all shotguns shot like that? And he like paused for a minute, and then I got the message, what if they're all just fourth horsemen?
Oh, Bjorn, you mad scientist.
It is really entertaining to take a slug shotgun and have it shoot that fast.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of celebration with these volatile mods for hand cannons during that week. So with shotguns, we have the one that's effectively going to be Fourth Horseman everywhere.
Yeah.
But we have a couple more too,
Yeah.
and we'll leave that for players to discover
It's going to
soon.
be super awesome.
Next up on the
House of
slate,
Thrones
we
did
have
have a lot of
Festival Lost
golden
is going to be
stuff.
coming back during Ash and Iron, and we have a preview of our armor sets. So these are armor ornament sets. Y'all voted on these earlier in the year last year, and
Those look
we
nice.
had to show them. They look
Great
awesome.
votes.
I cannot wait to have those
Definitely
roses
love the
on my
Jason for the
shoulder.
Titan.
But with Festival Lost, we have some new
Interesting
activity
weapons.
content, correct?
That's right. The Headless
And the
ones have
Slenderman
broken
for the
out of
Warlocks.
Haunted Lost Sector
That
jail.
actually looked really cool.
Because of that, we have new activities. So we have a new PvE 6-player activity called Haunted Altars. And then we have a new PvP activity called
Six-player.
Red Rumble. Hocus Focusing is coming back. It's going to be a 2-week-long activity. We have 2 new weapons, a reprise weapon. You'll have your reward track, event home, the whole shebang. I'm very excited. It is very fun to play in those activities.
Awesome.
So it's chaos. Just all chaos.
And then the last on our list, so Jerome, we have a new event called Call to Arms that's going to be coming at the end of Ash and Iron. Can you give us a quick overview?
Sure. We're going to be
Call to
working
arms.
with Devrim K, who has been holding down the EDZ for the better part of a decade without a ghost, right? Doing it all in one life. And he'll be taking some much-deserved R&R in the tower and being our liaison to the foundries. We have to remember that most of the guns that the Guardian fires are designed and produced in the last city. Of course, we know that they're actually designed and produced here with the Sandbox team.
What do you mean? Cassoid's in-house.
That's right, Mr. Cassoid, right here. So we will be working with Devrim to stress test the latest and greatest in gear from the foundries, and the Guardians that can push their gear the furthest and get the most out of it will reap the greatest reward. So there's a competitive aspect to it as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about this competitive aspect, the Call to Arms is going to be a ton of rewards, legendaries, some cosmetics for anyone to earn, but then we have kind of some cosmetics at the top for our hardcore, so to speak, to really earn. And Clayton, I think you were talking about a helmet?
Yeah, we have a helmet ornament. It is fantastic looking. When you equip it, if you're in that top earner, you will have this like tail of flames coming from you. And much like the trial glows, these flames signify that you are a top competitor in this.
So when I load into the tower, I'm going to see this guy with a giant fiery mohawk. And I'm going to know, okay, they were top of Call to Arms.
Impressed and scared at the same time.
But then we have some cosmetics, like I said, for
Wow.
just general players too. Like I believe
That
there's
sounds
an exotic ornament for
Fiery
the
mohawk.
pulse rifle on the reward track, and a bunch of other things to earn too. So
we have daily login rewards as well, and we have vouchers that will actually help set you up for the next season.
awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for the quick overview. We will definitely have more information in the Twit about this new event. And as we're going through Ash and Iron, we'll have an update before each of these events to give you a quick a recap of what we've been talking about today. So just to end it up as well, we have a brand new crossbow that's going to be coming in. So our first crossbow was introduced through raids. And this one is going to be through our events. To start, it's going to be a low drop chance from any of the events that we just covered. And then in Call to Arms, you can focus this thing and really hammer on getting those rolls.
I still haven't done that
what's
raid,
the
so.
damage type on this?
Yeah, so you might have seen it in the gameplay. It's going to be a stasis crossbow. And obviously, with a stasis weapon comes stasis perks.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to say that it does have chill clip, and it in fact does freeze in 2 shots. And oh my god, there's such like a fun play pattern of like you pop a guy twice with it, they freeze, and then if you have serrated bolts, you run up and you pull them out of him, and the serrated bolts do damage and cause them to pop. So you just like put him in a major, and you cause him to explode and hit all the dudes around him. And it was an oddly fun play pattern of just running around and blasting people that I got quite a few giggles out of in playtests.
I can't wait. So again, to say it, today with our New Territories event, you can get this to drop. It will be a low drop chance, but over the course of the rest of the season with each event, more chances, and then Call to Arms, you can focus it along with other gear and really go hard for the role you want.
And it has a holofoil in.
And a holofoil in Call to Arms as well.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of our show. So thank you all for joining us on the couch. Thank you all for joining us at home. We hope you enjoyed the Vidoc. The Renegades pre-orders are live now, and as we said at the top of the show, we have some new pre-order incentives that also apply to the Year of Prophecy folks that purchase that edition. A new legendary ship, a new legendary emblem, and then, yeah, in 3 minutes here, we have Ash and Iron launching. So thanks for coming in. Hope you enjoy the rewards. We'll have more details on our quality of life updates over the next few weeks and a roadmap coming soon.
All right.
So thank you. Can't thank you enough. And if you want to stick around, we're going to be handing off the stream to Mactix. Good friend. He's great at Destiny. Sometimes I do question his PvP prowess, but love the guy. So thanks for joining. Have a good day.
Well, that was interesting. Well, at least one speculation for D2 for Ash and Iron. The axe. Thank you. Finally new melee weapon. Oh, I can't wait to get it. That's gonna be so much fun. But with Renegades, wow. I did not see any of that coming. I mean, I know it's basically Star Wars in D2. But the lightsaber, I feel like that's gonna be a lot of fun. But calling it the Praxic Blade, I'd say it's got a nice ring to it. Finally now getting to know the Praxic Order, or whatever, I keep forgetting the name. I think it's Praxic Order. Seeing them finally come into play in the game. I mean, sure, we've heard more about them, and we've heard them throughout the campaign from time to time, but actually seeing a member of it, that's interesting. I can't wait to see what Renegades has in store. And now seeing an enemy guardian, even though it's, I believe, like when the first teaser of Renegades came out about a new Dredgen, seeing how it's a Sith-like Dredgen, that piqued my interest. So now I'm very interested. But seeing how friggin' the chicken walker, or the ATT walker, again, I keep forgetting the name on that. But I always call it the chicken walker because it walks like a chicken. At least how I remember while growing up. Seeing that in this, even though it's like mostly a reskin of it, but a reskin of like the brig, but I love it. I like the look of it, and I love how it's like with Destiny and Star Wars mixed in together. So far, no complaints from me. But seeing how we're also going back to Venus. Thank you. Finally. And also like with the new dungeon there, I wonder what that's going to be about. Even though I also hope that we also go back to the old locations. But even though it's most likely not going to happen, and a part of me is saying like, kind of wish I'm wrong. But yeah, let's hope. And what else? I do like that they are kind of listening, like with all the stuff about the portal and like with the activities. I mean, I'm only just in it for the fun. But at least they're listening. It's gonna take some time to do the works for it, which no problem. Totally understandable. What else? Also, I did I do like the look of the Elixir, and still, Vex wearing clothes. That is a little weird. I mean, it is weird. But again, are they gonna talk? Like, are they gonna speak to us? Or are they just gonna, like, translate through our ghost? That's a big question. In my opinion, anyway. And the freaking Sarlacc pit. You have gotta be kidding me. Holy crap, I feel like Renegades is gonna be fun. But, can't wait to play Ash and Iron. And I will make a video about it. In the meantime, I will see you guys when I hop over there. In the meantime, you guys have a good one. Zorvax, out.